I wish I had something good to share on the first day of the year, but frankly, I'm just terrified. I didn't know who this Nick Shirley guy was, but he's got like 2 million followers online. And unfortunately, I'm not surprised to see that about 8 people who I know personally follow him, the usual suspects. This piece he created, it's basically just 2,000 Mules, the Child Care Edition. It's easily seen through with even a minimal amount of understanding. But he got what he wanted. He got more fame, attention, followers. It's working out well for him at the moment. And he's being praised by tens of millions of people and told to keep up the good work instead of facing criminal charges for things like, I don't know, child endangerment. Yeah, that comes to mind. But it's also very interesting that this would be the topic Nick Shirley would choose, almost like he was pointed in that direction, told to do it. How quickly did Elon Musk and JD Vance share it? Almost like they were waiting for it, knew it was coming. The piece that MAGA continues to miss is the interconnectedness of everything around us, especially when it comes to policy. Let me explain. The Child Care and Development Block Grant, it was created by OBRA, the Omnibus Reconciliation Act in 1990. It was signed into law by Republican President George H.W. Bush, while Democrats held both houses of Congress. It was then expanded in 1996 by the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act. That was signed into law by then President Bill Clinton, while Republicans held both houses of Congress. It was law. So they passed it, and then it made it to Clinton's desk for signature. And then it received an additional expansion in 2018, signed into law by ding, 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 President Donald Trump, while Democrats controlled the House and Republicans controlled the Senate. So that's all to say that these funds, this program, at no time has it ever been a Democratic or solely leftist initiative. It's always been something that's held bipartisan support because it benefits people of all political parties. Now, because of Nick Shirley's video, who are we kidding? It's not because of that video. Trump was looking for any reason, but now Trump is freezing these funds to all 50 states, which is going to impact innumerable parents and children. And it's important to understand that these funds aren't just some giveaway. They were implemented in part to drive economic growth, to get parents out of the home and back into the workforce. Why? To work those low-paying jobs that keep them working full-time, but yet underemployed, still needing government assistance, while the massively profitable corporations they work for rake in the profits. That's right, guys. I've been in recruiting and HR, human resources, for over 20 years. And one of the many hats that I've worn in human resources is employee relations. One of the things I've done in employee relations is to help employees navigate their schedules and work requirements while also meeting the requirements of their personal lives without losing their jobs. You know, many of these people work jobs with a non-negotiable point system, especially in like manufacturing and distribution facilities. A point system that docks them for tardies and absences. So when they get too many points, they point out and lose their jobs. And one of the biggest reasons people point out is because of childcare issues. And due to this freeze, we're going to see an explosion in job losses and unemployment claims, more than offsetting any dollars going out the door due to fraud. Also, cutting funds to all 50 states because of the possible fraud of several centers in Minnesota that's already under investigation. That's the equivalent of a company freezing pay to all employees because of time card falsification of one employee. It's just insane. A couple of other things about the staggering ignorance of Nick Shirley sticks out to me. In a follow-up interview with him, he said that these daycare centers should have a reception area. This guy with no kids, who has never taken a child to daycare, most likely, thinks daycare centers that cater to low-income communities can afford a receptionist. No, Nick. In most instances, the daycare center directors, they're the receptionist, the caretaker, the cook, the janitor. They have minimal support staff. Why? Because they can't afford it. That's what these funds are supposed to help. And this is one of the things that's looked at in an audit, by the way. Auditors want to make sure that the child to caretaker ratio is in line. If there are too many children and not enough caretakers, the center would get a violation. That'd be something they have to fix. Next, Nick Shirley wants to know why the doors are locked at these centers. The irony of a podcaster showing up to a daycare center with armed men, trying to get in the door, and then asking why the doors are locked is fucking insane. You, Nick, you know why the doors are locked. I can think of 100 other reasons why the doors at a daycare center would be locked, and this guy can't think of fucking one. And as a parent, if you showed up with your bullshit to a center where my child was, Nick, and I was there, you'd be very lucky to leave with all 5 of your senses intact. When my daughter was 1, I got sole protective custody of her. Her mother could only see her supervised because she had endangered the child's safety repeatedly. So if her mother had showed up to a daycare center to get her, and the daycare center had let our child go with her, they would have been held legally responsible. Yeah. Another basic reason for making sure the doors are locked is just so that the children don't accidentally make their way outside, like into the street, get hit by a car, something like that. I don't know. Did you thought of that, Nick? I should mention that as a single parent working full time and having only one income, I was flat broke. So if it weren't for support provided by the Child Care Development Fund, I couldn't have paid for childcare. I couldn't have gone to work. Now, Nick, I know your video was to demonize the Somali community, but do I look Somalian to you, motherfucker? This pathetic excuse for journalism is torpedoing funds needed by many Americans across the political spectrum, not just Democrats, not just Somalians. And shortly, you're about to find out how many Republicans, how many MAGA folks rely on it too. But MAGA continues to burn the house we all live in down without so much as an insurance policy. I repeat, I am terrified. Nick Shirley shouldn't be receiving praise. He should be receiving a class action lawsuit, one that I hope is not very far off.